I'm going to hit the record button. We are recording this and it will be posted on our website. Just a couple things before I start the presentation. It is also being interpreted. So there'll be an English and a Spanish version. There's an evening one. It's called the Sunset, and it's for those folks who would like to, who are unable to join us in the morning. The presentation's the same, but sometimes it's different because it is an interactive presentation. And so depending on your questions, we may have a different conversation, and that one will also be recorded and posted on our website. We're going to jump right in, and I'm going to share my screen with you, and I want to give you a couple pieces of advice before we get started. So the first, sorry, make sure I'm adding people. The first piece of advice is that this is a Zoom meeting versus a webinar. So a webinar is where we can't see the participants. It's just you only see the panelists, but I have chosen to do the Zoom meeting so that we can engage in an interactive conversation. You can unmute yourself. Just be aware that, of the fact that we all can hear you. We all can see you as well. So you may want to turn off your video. So hold on, I think, unfortunately, I'm not sure why Barbara, we want to record the Spanish, the Spanish recording. And I wonder if Martha or Viviana, can you let me know if is there a way to tell if we have Spanish speakers that are here? I don't think I can change the recording settings. So we're probably not recording the Spanish one today. We'll make sure we record the one tonight though. Sorry about that. Good old technical issues with Zoom. You can also use the chat. So you'll notice on the bottom of your screen, there is a chat function and you can chat there as well. And I'm having it so that everyone can chat publicly and see. Everybody can see what you're asking. So just also be thoughtful or what you're writing about that as well. Okay, so let's jump right in. This is the monthly sunrise sunset chat. This is the sunrise version. Here's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to ask you a question and I do want some answers. I want to know how things are going. I want to know how things are going. We are on, we just had 2 days where everybody, A's and B's, were on campus. And so I want to hear what you're hearing from your children about it. And then just in general, other things, how are they going? I want to talk with you about some senior events, some time about next school year, and some additional information, AP testing, important dates, things like that. So before I jump in, I want to share a bit of gratitude. There we go. This is our wellness center. This is just one angle of it. It is a room that's here on campus down near what I would call our north end, facing the senior lawn. The windows look out onto the senior lawn there. And that's the Anna Pamu entrance they're looking out at. This is a small room that we used to use for a variety of different things. It was a testing office, sort of like a closet. And it was also a space where when we had youth support specialists here, they would be in there. And we've converted it into our wellness center with the support of the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School. They helped fund the purchase of a lot of the items you see in here. But the style came from our family service agency therapists. And so we're really appreciative of that. We also have an additional therapist on our campus, again, because of the generosity and the support of our Foundation of Santa Barbara High School. And so we have 3 full-time therapists and 1 part-time therapist. This space is a place for staff and for students to go, and there's a therapist in there so they can talk if they need to. They can, or just sit there and breathe and not have to just relax. So that's our wellness center. And I wanted to share that with you. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the hard work that Mr. Mendoza and our family service agency therapist put into this space. And so It's great. It's a great place for our students and staff. So how are things going? And so I see that a couple people have already put in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can, if you want to unmute yourself and say anything. How are things going? And I appreciate those who've already said it's been smooth return. Some are continuing with Group C. I see that, which is great. So I just want to see how any other feedback into basically intel that will help me make Santa Barbara High better or keep doing what we're doing. Feel free to unmute yourself. If you don't want to say anything, this is my way of checking in. Okay. So thank you for that. If you are wanting to connect with me and you're like, I don't really want to do this in a Zoom call this morning, then feel free to just email me and we can connect on the phone, via email, in person, Zoom, whatever works for you, and we can talk more. Okay, good. Thank you. Happy. Saw a lot of happy kids on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm glad to hear that Group C is still continuing to go well. I've been multiple conversations with individual teachers, with the school, with the entire staff, just reminding that we need to provide Group C with the same quality education that they're receiving before. They are going to do some things different than A's and B's who are in person, and that teachers are also setting aside some intentional time Wednesday afternoons to work with their Group C students. So you should see that happening as well. Those office hours should be posted on Teachers Neo pages. And if you ever have a question about when, you can just email the teacher. Mr. Sofro, you're the counselor here. Is there any input you want to give about how you're noticing things are going so far?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I would say it's consistent with how it's been all year. For some students are really thriving, and some students are really struggling. So it's really very individual, which is consistent with how it's been even before COVID. Just how school is going in general for students, but it sure is nice to see so many students on campus and to see some. Well, I don't see too many smiles because all the kids are so fantastic about wearing their masks, but it sure is fun to be on campus and to feel all the energy of the students. It just really depends on the student and how they're doing, maybe that day or that week, or and some are staying remote and some are with us on campus, and it's very individual. So it's kind of case by case, the same way it's always been throughout my whole career. So, but I'm happy to be here. So please put any questions you might have for counseling about scheduling for next year, about summer school. City College signups are going on right now, dual enrollment City College stuff. So feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Thanks, Mr. Sofro. When I talk to kids around campus, a lot of them, actually one group, it was interesting. They said, God, it just seems like there's more kids here now than there were before the pandemic. And granted, it was at lunchtime. So I think they're speaking the truth, because we are asking our kids to stay on campus. There's a few that don't know that rule. And so we're working with them on that today. Mr. Mendoza and the admin team and our campus safety who are out and about. But there are a lot. It's great. And I think I reflect on that. And I think it's been a year, and I think we have forgotten what it's like to be in the vibrant, active school of Santa Barbara High. And so it's really fun to be back and just be around so much happiness. And you can see kids smiling through their masks, lots of laughter. It's been great. It's been great. They do struggle with social distancing. But it's because they just want to be with each other. We're humans. We want to be around, and the 3 feet or the 6 feet just seems so far away. So that is something that I'm constantly reminding them to remember, to be thoughtful about their distancing from each other. And, but they, they are wanting to be next to each other. I don't blame them. So let's move on. I see there's a question about cap and gowns, and I'm going to we will talk about senior events. So one of the events that is coming up, all right, well, actually we're in the middle of right now. It's called Dare a Dawn. And our senior class, it's their fundraiser. They want to raise funds for our senior prom and graduation costs. So we're doing everything we can because we want every student to be able to participate in everything, and financial, not having the finances or maybe to purchase the ticket or to have that dress or that time or to get your hair done, all of those things. We want to make sure that our students are able to access all of the events. And so we're here to support them with that. And that's what this fundraiser is about. So we're thankful that our Foundation for Santa Barbara High is helping support this fundraiser. And it's a fun thing. So if they raise $20,000, so this is where the link will take you. Let me go ahead and put in, so you can see here, we have $430 raised. We're trying to get to 20,000. And the fun thing about it is, let me put this here. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can share this out, please, far and wide. The fun thing about this is it's called Dare a Dawn because if we raise the $20,000, then I have been dared to roller skate and they're going to video me. So a lot of staff members have different dares associated with this event. And so if we reach the goal, a lot of the staff have to do some pretty wacky things. Like I think there's some hair dyeing happening. I think there's some, I think Mr. Tormey gets to eat cat food or something weird. He's agreed to it, by the way. We've all agreed to these. Oh, thank you, Mia. We've all agreed to these. These are, it says the staff's way of having fun and being supportive. I'm changing the access so you all can have access to this document. There you go. Try again. Thank you. So, again, it's a fun thing. And if you help support, not only is it going to make the staff have to do some wacky things, it's going to help our seniors out with basically subsidizing the cost of the senior prom and graduation for our students. Here it is in Spanish as well. The event ends on May 1st. So we have some time, but not too much time. So please help out with that. So here's some senior events. Let's just talk about class of 2021 right now. We are having to follow the health and safety guidelines, and one of them is going to be means less guests than normal because we have to have folks sit in their household pods next to each other. And we also have to, in order to increase our capacity, we need to look at vaccination/negative tests. So there are some things that we are trying to do so that we can increase capacity. So make sure if you haven't already, complete this. All seniors got their mortarboard, which is, mortarboard is the hat that they wear, and we just call it mortarboard because it used to be in a square and it sort of looked like that. But what it is, it's everything that seniors need to know about the events, including how to order your cap and gown. So the mortarboard is found on our website. And again, if you do not have this website linked, please do it, bookmarked. So please make sure that you check out our website. It is still a work in progress, and it will always be because we're adding it and updating it. We're also learning more how to use it more effectively. And yes, Amy, the Orange Year did help with prom capacity. And I'll talk about prom and that situation. But if you look here on our school website, I'm actually going to go back to sharing with you all. There you go, back to screen share. On our website, you'll notice here that right here, there was that question about how do you order caps and gowns? It's right here. There's the senior families is reserving your tickets. We need to hear from you by May 7th. There's some other really cool things on here. And then the mortar board, I believe you click to students. Oops. Yep, students, senior class of 2021 under students. And that's going to take us to, taking a second, to the mortar board. So again, it's basically the packet of everything you need to know about senior events. So it talks about, so there's the mortar board right there. We have it in English and in Spanish. And then even here, you can see there's stuff about graduation, senior photos, yearbook. Okay, so this is please make sure if you haven't already, bookmark our website, and it's a work in progress. So any feedback, I noticed something yesterday that we need to resolve. So it's a constant, we're working on it to make the best for you. These are some really important dates that you need to be aware of for our seniors. And I'll answer the questions in the chat that I just want to make sure. So we have May 18th as a senior night. We're going to do a webinar, but we're also going to bring forward, we're going to make the students panelists so we can see and we'll highlight them so you can see them instead of, it's not just going to be like a slide deck that we did last year. We're going to make it into a webinar and more just presenting each student live via webinar. And then we also have our May 22nd, which is senior prom. And we're doing it in Peabody Stadium. Think more of less about dancing and more about just connecting and playing games and having fun. And there's going to be some some performances. How about that? Also for seniors, May 21st, we need everybody they're going to be completing their city college coursework for this term, as well as we have a few students are doing credit recovery in our online program, mandatory graduation practice, and graduations on June 2nd. So those are some very important dates. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. You also have the slide deck yourself, and make sure you purchase that cap and gown. Okay, so there's some questions. Let me look in the chat. So being in the orange tier does help with capacity in all of these events. We are still at this time not allowing guests. We're only allowing the class of 2021 to attend. We're working with Dos Pueblos and San Marcos, and we're calibrating together. So we may have at Santa Barbara High plenty of space in Peabody Stadium, but Dos Pueblos and San Marcos may not. And so we want to make sure we're all on the same page and working together on all of these events, because again, we just want to make sure we don't fall into the space of heroes and zeros, which is something that happened. I always want to avoid. There's one thing to have healthy, competition is good, but when it's impacts other students at other schools in a way that's not fair, I just want to be thoughtful about that. So we're still only allowing the seniors to participate in these events. We are doing a class of 2020 graduation the Saturday before this. And if emails went out, information went out for that, we're already planning it. And if you know of someone, or you are someone that has a senior that was class of 2020 and you didn't get the information, please email Haley Villaseñor. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay. And now let's look at some other questions. Does the orange tier imply that every student goes back, no more Zoom? No, we're offering distance learning through Group C for this school year. We're going to finish the year up. So we're still offering Zoom. So teachers are teaching the students in front of them and the students on Zoom at the same time. If you have questions directly about, Rose asked a question about the graduation tickets. So not every, we're giving every family 4. Not every family is going to take 4. Some families will take 2. So please, I believe when you fill out the form, there's a space on there where you can put down that you may need an extra ticket, or there may not be, but hold tight, because once we hear from everyone, we can then say, hey, we have available tickets. It all comes down to a capacity, and we want to make sure everybody can fit in that stadium safely. We are using the guest and the home side bleachers. We're reorienting the actual graduation itself so that we can use both stands and everybody can see safely and see it and be safe at the same time. Is it possible now that we are orange to have an in-person senior night, even in the stadium? It is possible. However, we have chosen to do it via Zoom. So the senior awards night, it is possible, but we've chosen to do it via Zoom. And again, still, because so that's what we're choosing at this point. A lot of the thing about senior honor night is it's hard to collect the people who will understand who's actually coming. We've always struggled with that. It's an open invitation to students that have earned a 3.5 or higher and have earned other awards. And so often it's a moving target when it comes to audience. And on the safety plans, we have to be able to assign seats and things like that to folks. So, and the cap and gowns and all of that will be given out, I believe, on June 1st, which is the first, is the mandatory practice. We're working with, I actually have a meeting in a couple of weeks to meet with, or a week, with Mr. Dylan Aguilera to talk about whether the band will perform or not. And so we're working on that right now. Okay. So I'm going to keep going on to yearbook. So here's another thing you just want to keep in mind. We are offering a yearbook. I will say at every single event, I see Miranda Jew or one of our students taking photos. And we're going to, so there's going to be photos from the beginning of the year where students submitted them, and then also wrapping up for the rest of the year. So you'll notice that the yearbooks won't arrive until August. And that's because we're really pushing the deadline and trying to get as many photos and things in there as we can, including the graduation. So again, you can go online and you can order the yearbook. If you as a parent want to basically buy one for another student that is unable to afford it, then there is a way where you can basically buy one for your student, and then you can buy another one you just name it for another senior or another student, and then we can make sure that they get that textbook, that yearbook. You can send questions to Miss Jew, Miranda Jew, and her email is right there. And here's questions. Here's her email. Are the kids taking school photos? So we have only done senior photos for this year and photos for the student ID. So that's what we've done this year. We haven't done it for the other grade levels. So AP testing, just if you have a student that's taking an advanced placement course, there's actually 3 different options that students can select. And again, you can see here that if you have any questions, you want to email Mr. DuPont. So any questions about the AP exams, please email him. And you want to, again, you can see there that if they're going to take it digitally, which means they're taking it either on campus or at home, they do need to download this app beforehand. That. I'm going to stop sharing because at this point we have about 15 more minutes and it's really just open for you to ask me questions, things that you're wondering about. We talk about next year. So just want to give you an opportunity to, I'm sort of returning back to what these principal chats were originally intended for, which is where it's a conversation and it's really, I come to the table with some topics and then you also come to the table with some questions and we discuss. They shifted and became more formalized, especially I used it also as an opportunity to present like safety protocols and so I'm wanting to sort of shift back to the that original, which is I come to the table with some things and then you also ask some questions. So there is a question in the chat. Can a senior bring a Santa Barbara High School junior to prom or just other seniors? At this point, only seniors are being allowed to attend the prom. And again, we are working with the other two high schools to calibrate. If we all get to the point where we realize, listen, we do have the capacity to allow like 100 other students or something like that, then we will shift. But right now we are holding to the no guests. Just the seniors can come. So next year, we are, and there's a good question, what's the rationale in staying with the 4x schedule for next school year? So the rationale, there's the major one is that the 4x4 schedule does a couple of things. It reduces class size, which is one of the reasons why we shifted it to this year, because in the reduction of class size, it means less student contacts, student teacher contacts, meaning there's 99 students that teachers engage with on a daily basis. That means in person, 9 allows for us to have smaller classes so we can fit students into the classroom more safely. It also provides for deeper connections. It's 99 students that they get to know really well. And then they shift to terms 3 and 4, and there's a different group of 99 students. In the six course schedule, teachers had 175 students, which I know 99 plus 99, but 175 students. And so that, the beginning of the year, they're getting to know all those students and it's a lot. The class sizes are up to 38 in the 6 course bell schedule. The other and so we're going to remain in that because we do want to reduce, we always want to reduce class size, not just for safety reasons, but it is much more effective for teachers to be able to engage with students and get to know students, their learning styles, provide learning experiences that meet the individual student needs. The other reason is that it provides students more opportunities to take courses. So in the 6 course bell schedule, they only have 6. In the 8 course bell schedule that we're doing, they have 8. You add that up across 4 years, and we're talking about an additional year of high school. For some of our students, that means maybe they can complete their foreign language and earn the seal of biliteracy. For other students, they are able to be given the support classes that they need, as well as be able to take elective classes and become UCA through G eligible. And so that's another reason is it's providing more opportunities for our students. And that is as a school, we've been talking about for a couple of years. How do we do that? We recognize that by looking at San Marcos and looking at the number of course takes that students are taking. And I always wondered why so many students from Santa Barbara High took dual enrollment classes. I know there are some variety of reasons. But one of them in talking to parents is they can't fit all of the classes into their schedule. And then at San Marcos, they have very low dual enrollment numbers. And it's, again, I know there's other reasons, but they know they have basically an extra year to do within 4 to complete other courses, whether it's a foreign language, an elective, math, science, any of those things.
Elise,
Yeah.
question there. I was gonna jump in.
Yes. So, is this for next year?
Well, yeah, because just right now, none of the classes have been assigned like fall or spring. We don't know what's fall or spring. We just know what the course requests are.
Yeah. We
So,
haven't put anything in on the board, as we call it.
yeah.
So right now we just have the course requests, which we use to start building that master schedule board.
So what you see in Aries isn't like in an order, it's just, you could see all of your academics listed first, and then electives listed second, but that's not like teachers aren't assigned periods, fall or spring. None of that's assigned yet. And that's going to be a while before we know what that is.
Goal is to have most of the master schedule built, 80% of it built before summer, before we head out to summer.
Yes, Miss Williamson, of course we can change the course request.
Yeah. I would say
we can adjust.
Yeah, we can adjust. If you're looking at your child's schedule in Aries and and it's missing a course or has a course on there that you're like, wait, what? Why is that there? Those requests need to happen right now. So if you haven't already, and just please make sure you look at the course requests, because yeah, Amy, I would, it's important that you make those adjustments now, because we're doing course tallies. We're looking at staffing right now. Once we have that solidified, then we start looking at, it's called the conflict matrix. It's a lot of fun. It's a big puzzle. And so what we start to do is if our course tallies, if the student course requests, we want them to be as accurate as they can be. Because if they're not, we're going to be building a master schedule on inaccurate data. And that's not always a good way to go about things. So please, if the course requests look like there's something off, it's missing something, you want to change them, then you need to email your child's counselor as soon as possible. So spend some time doing it. And that would be great if you could do that this week. And we'll start building it where we start placing courses by period and by teacher and by term 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We'll start doing that in the next few weeks. But again, we don't publish that, and often I don't publish it sometimes to staff right away, because the beginning is so much there's so many changes that happen, and especially at the beginning as we're building it. And the master schedule team is, we have Marcy as the head counselor. We invite Jeff to come in sometimes to help out with things. We got Mr. DuPont and myself. We invite teachers to come in and help us figure things out. And so but the main team is Mr. DuPont and Marcy, and then Jeff and I provide a lot of support and to our 2 cents. Sometimes more than that, but yeah. Anything else that you have? And oh, by the way, I just received late last night in the evening, late evening, some more guidance from our district office, from Dr. Wageneck, that's updating now that we're in the orange tier, like what are the different things that change. There's also, I need to, and I have not reviewed it. I got it yesterday at about 6 o'clock at night. There's also sort of like what next year is going to look like for schools, and coming out from the California Department of Public Health. So I haven't been able to look at that close enough, just to sort of understand what next year will look like. And so more to come on that space. I will say that we have room to fit a lot more students, safely fit them, a lot more students. And then I think with the vaccinations being open to now everybody in the United States that's 16 years or older right now is a really good move in the right direction for full open. I also know that we are talking about how to continue to offer remote learning to our students. I don't necessarily think it's going to look like what it's this year. So just keep that in mind, but we will be able to offer that to students that need it. And by the way, we've always been able to offer it. And it's been through Alta Vista Independent Study. I'm not saying that that's what it's going to look like next year, but we are in the process of looking at that. I would expect, though, that the grand majority of our students will be back on campus in full person learning, wearing masks. So that's how I sort of in my head envision next year. Any other questions, things? The only thing I want to add is the first week in May is Teacher Appreciation Week, and the PTSA right now is collecting donations. They're looking for gift cards in the amounts of $5 to $10. I think it was a request for coffee places or local business. It could be any local business in town. But if you'd like to donate gift cards and $5 or $10 amounts, and you can just drop them off in the front of the school. We're going to celebrate teachers and all of our staff on Wednesday, May 5th. We're going to provide a lunch for them. PTSA and the foundation are helping out with that. We're going to get Tino's. I mean, you see the smile when I say Tino's. So we're gonna have Tino's for the staff. We're really excited about that. And the deadline for the card donation. So the event is on May 5th. So I would say May 4th. So anything you can bring by would be really appreciated. I know PTSA will appreciate that. Spread the word. And thank you to those who have already donated. Okay, folks, if there's nothing else, I'm going to let you go on about your morning. We'll do sunset at 7. If you want to join the presentations, the same questions, will be, maybe the conversation might be a little different based on your questions. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. I appreciate you all as well. Thank you, Mr. Sofro, for being here.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha and Viviana, for translating and interpreting for me. Thank you. Bye, everyone.